Good morning, and welcome to my Monday messages. And I'm Rebecca. I am a QTT coach practitioner and a homeopath and an energy transformation coach and mentor. And this morning, I'm a bit late this morning because I actually lost internet connection for a while, which is annoying, but there you go. I'm here now. That's the main thing. So today I wanted to ask, actually, how many of you resonate with or can empathise with any sticky feelings around acknowledging that you've made a mistake, that something that you were attempting or trying to achieve or, giving a go, didn't turn out the way that you thought it should, and that your perception is that it was your fault in some way, that you didn't do something you were supposed to do, or that you misunderstood something, or it doesn't matter what it is, that you made a mistake in some way. And how many of you then will be really forgiving of that and say, oh, well, never mind, and move on? And how many of you were a bit stuck, as I was, in beating yourself up, in, say, following on with a little part of you that popped up and went, oh, you are such a klutz. You always do this. You always make mistakes. You shouldn't have done that. And God, you're so stupid. And all of those horrible things that we can inadvertently accuse ourselves of, or, get into that feeling of. And given that our default, our subconscious selves, is hardwired always to protect us from feeling those unpleasant feelings, it may be that you, as I did, spend a lot of energy in navigating your way around not having to expose yourself to possible mistakes, to maybe not try things that you'd actually like to try because you might make a mistake, or to really over prepare, which is something that I recognise, to not fully trust yourself and your own capabilities and your own ability to access knowledge that you actually know you've got, without really over preparing and putting strategies in place that mean that there's very little possibility of you screwing up in some way. I spent a lot of energy doing that, and I was reminded of this by a lovely client who came to see me last week, who had very similar feelings. She felt a lot of shame around making mistakes, and she really was keeping herself very small and comfortable and not really stepping out, either personally or in her business, because it had become automatic that she never did anything that might expose her to making a mistake. Now, that came, in her case, from a really, really strong culture, both in her home life, in her parenting, or her parents parenting her, and in her school life, where she went to a school that, you were punished for making mistakes, and she was also punished at home. So she developed a whole side of her, a whole part of her, that became absolutely adept at avoiding putting herself in those situations. And also that if she inadvertently made a mistake, that she was absolutely brilliant at just shunting the blame, because she perceived that if you make a mistake, you should be blamed, that you should be punished in some way. She became very, very clever at masking any mistakes that she inadvertently made. And in some cases, actually defaulting to putting the blame on other people that she knew very well had nothing to do with it. And she was aware that this was becoming more and more limiting for her, particularly in her business life. So, cut a long story short, we did a beautiful QTT session, and this is how I managed to transform my own energy. And what she now feels is that she has embraced that part of herself that she created to do all that energetic navigation and avoidance and keeping in the comfort zone, if you like. And instead of feeling that immediate feeling of shame at the prospect of making a mistake or the knowledge of making a mistake, she now sees that part as actually a really valuable tool for her. When that part pops up and says, oh, you've made a mistake, or maybe you made a mistake, she now embraces that as an opportunity to analyse what's happened, to really take a good hard look at a process that she's been involved in or something, especially in her work, and to really understand, first of all, her part in that, in the outcome. What could she have done differently next time that will mean that she gets a better outcome, or she gets closer to the outcome that she knows is best for her and for her colleagues in the situation at work. She was always, up until this point, very afraid of analysing, very afraid of doing any kind of audit or understanding exactly what had happened and learning from it. So she was able to come to understand that by creating this part of her that just actually defaulted to, okay, I'm never doing that again. I'm never doing that again. Don't ever let me in that situation again. That she was denying herself both the learning that came from doing that analysing, but also sometimes the acknowledgement that in fact it was nothing to do with her, that the outcome that came, if it didn't happen the way that she needed it to happen, was actually nothing to do with her part in the process. It was to do with something else outside of her control. Either way, she could learn from it and actually do it differently next time. And already she is getting much, much better results. And she just doesn't feel any of those horrible feelings of shame or guilt or humiliation, uncomfortableness, if that's a word. She doesn't have any of those feelings anymore. She understands that in order to grow and to expand, both personally and professionally, that we need to give things a go. We need to actually step out of our comfort zones and experience new things and do things that we've perhaps never tried before, that we've had no experience of. And yes, we can spend our entire lives avoiding making mistakes, as she had got very skilled at doing. But actually, she was just treading water. She was just going nowhere, really, just staying the same in a lot of areas, not just professionally, but in her personal life as well. And she was also feeling a bit bored, a bit understimulated, a bit like, okay, well, it's predictable. I know what's going to happen. I know, nothing much is going to change very much, because she wasn't feeling able to step out and to actually experience a little bit of excitement, a little bit of the stimulation that comes with trying something new, with actually saying, do you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. All those old sayings actually hold water. When we make a mistake, that is actually a symbol that we've tried something new, that we've actually gone out there, we've been brave, and we've put ourselves on the line a little bit, whether that's in our own heads or someone else's, it doesn't really matter. And we have attempted something. And yes, it may not have turned out the way that we wanted it first go, so we have another crack at it. But the important thing is to look back and take note of anything that clearly didn't really work. And not to say, okay, never doing that again. That's just avoidance. But to ask ourselves, how could I do it a bit differently next time so that I can actually get a better result? So just wanted to remind us all of that. And actually, I'm really interested to know, because I come across this regularly with clients, that there has been something in their past, as there was in mine, that means that making a mistake has got enmeshed with a sense of shame or humiliation, something that is just not acceptable. And when we attach those feelings to something like making a mistake, then it can become very, very limiting. And we can just default to staying comfortable, staying safe. And there are times when that is indeed appropriate. But mostly, if we want to experience some excitement and some growth and some stimulation and some creation and some sense of progress in our lives, then we have to be prepared to make mistakes. And I don't think, even the feeling around the word mistake can be really loaded. And actually, if a mistake actually becomes something really positive, learnings, we don't make mistakes, we learn from all our experiences. And once we can transform the energy that gets stuck around those kind of things, then there's a freedom in that. And there's a freedom. There's a freedom in knowing that we can give anything a go and we can learn from it. So just wanted to remind you of that, and do pop in the comments, if this resonates with you and you think, yeah, actually, there is some stickiness around that and I would like to transform that, then do book a free clarity call with me and find out a bit more about QTT or homeopathy, and how I can use those tools to support you to transform your own sticky energy. That's it. Have a beautiful day. It's lovely and sunny and spring-like here, and I hope it is where you are, and that you have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to reading your comments and finding out if this is something that you resonate with. Take care.